Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. You don't know, my name's Chad and take a dive into all sports. This is my NFL Week 12 pick and preview video of the Thanksgiving weekend matchup. That's right, we're up to the day where it's the traditional games where the Lions and Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving. That's right, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and we get to have the family together, cooking, eating, stuffing our faces, and watching quality football on the television. It's a great time to be doing this, and I'll definitely be doing the same thing myself. Decked out my Bears attire, watching the game this week. So before we get into this, go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me. Give me a like. It really pleases the YouTube gods and helps this channel out. And you can also subscribe if you wish. And let's go ahead and look at kind of preview previous week. As you know, last week I went 8-7. That's 4 weeks in a row now. I've lost 7 games. I'm not sure what I need to do, what dances I need to perform. But you also got to think, I actually tallied up my son's rankings. He only went 6-9, so both of us are kind of, struggling right now for our picks. So as I go forward to, I kind of, throw out when I did the picks, I kind of say, if my son's different, I'll let you know this is going to be one of these games. And let's kick it off with the Thursday action. We have 3 games on the slot on Thanksgiving, so it's a full day of NFL action. And you guys sprinkle in some college games in there too if you really want to. And the first one on the list is the Bears taking on the Lions. These are 2 different teams that have not been performing very well. Andy Dalton is now the starter this week because of the injury that Justin Fields suffered last week against the Ravens. Dalton actually threw a touchdown to Mooney in his first possession, but that defense for the Bears right now is very porous. Khalil Mack's gone for the season, and then it's just a lot of things that this team has not really performed to the expectations I think some people in Chicago really expected. I expected more out of this team. And the Lions is just one of these teams that's just, I don't know what's wrong with this one. They can't seem to win a game. Times I pick them, they end up folding. They find themselves in games, they put themselves up there, but then they just fall short again. The key matchup is can the Bears stop Swift? That's what it is. And I've already determined that I'm not going to pick the Lions ever again because every time I said I pick them, they lose. So this is one of the games that me and my son split on, and I'm going Chicago. He's going Detroit, and we're just going to see how things play out from there. Yeah, next we have the Raiders taking on the Cowboys. The Raiders are just a convoluted mess. The Cowboys and also just got embarrassed by Kansas City. They couldn't do anything at all. Not having Amari Cooper, I think, really hampered a little bit, but the Cowboys running game couldn't get started, or they didn't even bother trying to run because I think they looked at the Kansas City secondary and like, no, we gotta pick this thing apart. And apparently, I guess you could fill in the holes of Swiss cheese because it's 2 weeks in a row that Chiefs defense has stepped up, performed. But I see the Cowboys rebounding in this game in a big way, and Carr's not going to have any fun in the backfield. Zeke should be able to run amok, and I see that we both picked the Cowboys to beat the Raiders. And then it comes to the Bills and Saints. This one I was kind of torn on who to pick. The Bills right now have been they have lost their will, it seems like. They've been performing badly this past week, which now allowed New England to take charge of the AFC East. And I said at the beginning of the season when I made this pick, this is the Bills. Bills were the cream of the crop of the AFC East. It was their division to lose, and they're losing it. The Saints is one of these teams, you just don't know which version you're going to get. This is a very Jekyll and Hyde team. It doesn't matter who's quarterback. Winston, Simeon, Taysom Hill, doesn't really matter. But what does matter is having Alvin Kamara. And he should be able to return to action this week against Buffalo. The Saints need him to be a contributing factor to really, stifle this Bills defense, which is falling apart. The Saints defense themselves are good enough to really hamper Buffalo pretty much like how Indianapolis did. And I think the Bills' woes continue, and the Saints beat Buffalo. And then Sunday we have a huge matchup in the NFC North where the Steelers visit Cincinnati. And this one could go, I think, either way, really. I think right now Cincinnati's favored by 4.5. And I don't know. Like I said, Cincinnati's just one of these teams that every so often they just perform out of their minds and just dazzle us with their offensive prowess and just how they're able to move and do what they have to do to win. And Pittsburgh is just one of these teams that just, these blue collars, they just keep chugging along and just keep moving because they came back last week against the Chargers and actually had a late lead and just coughed up at the end. And Cincinnati is definitely one of these very talented teams offensively. I mean, especially you got Burrow, Mixon, and Chase. That's your three-prong attack on the Bengals offense. It's going to hamper you. T.J. Watt's status, I think, is still kind of up in the air for this week. So not have that anchor point on that defensive line be a key factor in this matchup. But I think that Cincinnati, this is another game me and my son kind of split on. So I'm giving this one to Cincinnati. I think they'll be able to do just enough to edge out the Steelers on this one. And then Tampa Bay visit Indianapolis. Tampa Bay was able to finally wreck their 2-game slide and win last week. And Indianapolis win the Buffalo and just smacked the Bills. I have a feeling Indianapolis is going to do it again. I mean, they right now are performing very, very well. They're definitely putting the pressure on the Titans in the AFC South. And if the Buccaneers defense has to show up like they did last week, it's going to be a very problematic day for them. This is another game. This I don't normally go against Tom Brady, but something about this Colts team right now, I have a feeling they're on the precipice of being extremely good, and this is going to be the pivotal game for them because they beat Tampa Bay. The Colts could get in the playoffs, but if they lose against the Bucs, I think their season kind of goes away. They'll just be kind of like a above 500 team. But I don't normally go against Tom Brady in this, and this time I will. This is another game me and my son split on, so I'm taking the Colts over the Bucs. And then you have the Dolphins hosting the Panthers. The Panthers were trying to come back against Washington. They got sacked late. End of that one. Miami's just one of these teams that's not really performing up to expectations. I'm getting one. This is another game me and my son split on. But I have to give the edge to McCaffrey and the Panthers on this one. Then the Titans will visit New England. And way New England is playing, almost like the New England of old. They're performing exactly how they're going to do. They got one of the best defenses in the league right now. And Tennessee is just falling apart. So I think this, once again, I think Belichick will get his revenge on Vrabel from a couple years ago in the playoffs. And New England would knock off Tennessee. Next off, we have the Eagles heading off to MetLife to take on the Giants in a key NFC East divisional matchup. And right now, how the Eagles are playing, it's not fly Eagles fly, it's run Eagles run. I mean, the Eagles, that's what they're doing. They're just running the ball. And Jalen Hurts is a dual threat quarterback. They also got Devontae Smith catching for him, like used to do back in Alabama. And the Eagles are just a team to watch out for. But right now, the Giants are going through huge changes as Jason Garrett's been let go as offensive coordinator after that poor second half performance against the Bucs. So Dan Jones be under a new OC. You still have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. But the way the Eagles are playing right now, they're firing all cylinders, and it's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be Eagles winning, knocking off the Giants, and they could sneak in the playoffs themselves as well. They got Atlanta heading down to Jacksonville, and this is going to be a huge matchup for Matt Ryan because he needs to rebound from his poor performance last week. He just got obliterated by that Patriots defense. Jacksonville will keep this game close. There's no doubt about this one, but I think Atlanta will edge out Jacksonville and win. But my son picks Jacksonville. And then another garbage game. The Jets and the Texans. Wow. It's really hard to determine which 2-8 team sucks worse. Who's going to win? Wilson will be back now as the Jets quarterback, as now they have two quarterbacks out on protocol now. And the Texans last week went to Nashville and just shocked the NFL, beating the Titans at Nissan Stadium. And I think they're going to ride that charge, and they're going to beat the Jets. But this is another game that me and my son split on. And then you get the Chargers heading up to Mile High, take on the Broncos. The Chargers' season has been kind of up and down as of late. They had a great comeback win against the Steelers. Taking on a Broncos team that is not the same team anymore. And I have a feeling that it's just going to be too much Herbert and Eckler. And the Broncos have no chance. This is another game me and my son differ on. And I'm taking the Chargers to beat the Broncos. And then a huge matchup between the Rams and Packers in Green Bay. And right now the Rams are just, you got to think all those names on that team, and they're just not performing at the same level as they really should. They've been kind of lackluster. Green Bay just got the wrong end of some calls against Minnesota and up losing in a good matchup between division rivals. But, I'm just one of these people. I just can't go against Aaron Rodgers despite his antics. He's just one of those, on the field, he is a great field general. He knows how to get the team going. He knows how to pass the ball. He knows how to read defenses, pick them apart. He's going to find himself on the ground quite a few times. Sam Darnold, Von Miller are going to find some ways to get back there. But I think Green Bay's defense is good enough to kind of hamper the Rams. Stafford, like I said, Stafford knows this team all too well from his days in Detroit. But I can't go against Aaron Rodgers, so I'm taking the Packers to beat the Rams in a huge matchup in the NFC. You get Minnesota visiting San Francisco. Between two 5-5 teams. Minnesota needs to know one of these teams that should have more wins than they really do. I think they're the only team in the NFL to have led every single game by at least 7 points, and yet they're 5-5. I think the main reason for that is because of Kirk Cousins. And and San Francisco is just one of these teams that just kind of underperformed. They're not where they should be at. I don't know if that's Jimmy G's fault, if that's just how things got to play out for him. And San Francisco caged the Jaguars last week, so that no big big deal on that one. And Minnesota beat Aaron Rodgers in the key divisional matchup last week. And I think using that momentum, the Vikings would go to Santa Clara and knock off the Niners. Once again, this is not one of these games me and my son differ on. And then Cleveland will take on Baltimore. Lamar Jackson hopefully will return for this matchup. And Baker Mayfield, I don't know. The Browns need to stick to the running attack with Chubb. And once they do that, Baker Mayfield's more a steady quarterback, and he'll perform better, but he's not really being protected very well. And that Ravens front line should be enough to disrupt Baker Mayfield and then make him make some key mistakes. Lamar Jackson, it's just a dual threat quarterback. It's kind of hard to really focus on one aspect on Lamar's game because he'll beat you the other way. This is really a must win for Cleveland. They need this win to really stay in that hunt in the NFC North, or excuse me, AFC North. But I think it's just going to be too much Lamar Jackson, too much of the Ravens defense. Baker is his own worst enemy. He has just been. He'll give this team what he always performs. He always steps up regardless of how injured he is. Heck, if he's missing a leg, he's going to be out there hopping around on one leg trying to throw a football. This is the type of player Baker Mayfield is. He's his own worst enemy. But I have a feeling that he's going to get out there, he's going to break himself again, and it's going to be the Ravens in this one. I think Baker Mayfield's season will be done after this game because he'll be too injured. But once again, this is another game me and my son differ on. And then on Monday night, you'll have Seattle heading to D.C. to take on the Washington football team. Washington's one of these teams that's just doing. You want to get behind them, and then they just let you down. They really do. I mean, they lost their key defensive player in Chase Young, but yet the defense has kind of stepped up in his absence because they have been really underperforming with him in there. And Seattle's just one of these teams I think is a lost cause for them. I really do. When Russell Wilson was gone, they only get that one win under Geno. They're not doing what they need to do. The defense doesn't. They're not the Legion of Boom anymore. And it's kind of sad how the Seahawks have falling down, and this is going to be a really bad season for Pete Carroll. I really had high hopes for the Seahawks this year. Like I said, I had all NFC West teams in the playoffs, and I don't think two of them are going to make it. Maybe three, depends on the 49ers pull off the end of the season. But this is the one I think Washington will start winning, tighten up that NFC East division race, and make it a three-team race. And I am going to get behind Heineke once again. He's let me down before. But I'm going to get behind Heineke and that Washington offense and the Washington defense and beat the Seahawks on Monday night. And, oh yeah, my son picked the Seahawks. Well, there you go. There's the pick for this week. I know this is a little early. They can't get these games out. Normally they'll get these videos out till the day of, but because there's 3 games on Thursday, and I'm going to be busy Thursday doing some cooking and eating and watching the football. So it's definitely one of these things that I need to get this video out to earlier to you guys. You guys can ingest it, enjoy it, make your picks accordingly. If you're watching this channel, you'll probably be picking opposite of what I've been saying. Especially these past 4 weeks, because losing 7 games. I need to do a dance or something to please the football gods. But anyhow, hey, just let me know which game you're looking forward to this weekend. Well, as you can tell, I'll be looking forward to the Bears matchup. So I'm wearing my my throwback jersey here, old Johnny Knox, unfortunately, who had career shortened by injuries. But hey, like I said, let me comment down below. Let me know which game you're looking forward to. Which team has surprised you so far this season? Washington's been, which team's been the biggest disappointment? Always like hearing from y'all. It really helps me out, interactions and whatnot. And while you're there, you can also subscribe. Once you subscribe, you can hit that bell notification so next time I post a video, and I will see you next week on Chat Sports Talk.